For the very, very funny Dana Seigelstein, ladies and gentlemen.
Hey everybody. My grandma's assisted living facility is gonna have a field day. She's gonna crowd them around because they like bow down to her anyways because she has the most money. And she's gonna be like, for the third time, Jerry Seinfeld opened for my granddaughter. This is how rumors start. I'm starting the rumors. So I'm going to Los Angeles for a month in April. Thanks guys, I'm really excited. I'm just kind of nervous to be like considered plus sized. I've always been like the medium friend and I kind of liked that. So I wasn't always just gonna like break free and like take care of my West Coast roots. But about a month ago I had a manic break. Because it was tax season, and so my mom usually takes care of my taxes for me. And this year she was like, why don't you be independent? So I was like, okay. So a lot of people love TurboTax. Raise your hand if you use TurboTax. You're poor. Okay, so get yourself a nice Jewish accountant moving forward. But I use TurboTax. So when you first get there, they're like, take one way or the other. You could do one, you could use an expert, or two, you could do it yourself. I'm a communications major, so I obviously like use the expert. So I get on the phone and like everyone's a little bit sexist, right? Right? So I'm pretty sexist myself. So I was like hoping and praying for like a 40-year-old like male. And I got a 72-year-old female named Marsha. And she didn't have to tell me her age, like she could have catfished me, but she like trusted me, and that was her first mistake. So we're talking for a little, and she's like, oh my, Dana, and I'm like, what's up? I make an asinine amount of money for the city, and she's like, yes, but you actually owe some money, and I'm like, you're kidding me, like $200, like that's a lot for me. She goes, no, it's gonna be more like 10,000. This is a true story. So I'm like, oh my God, like I've never even seen $10,000. Like if we're being open and honest with each other, like that's my salary. I work in advertising, so I'm freaking out. So I'm calling my mom, I'm calling everyone, and I'm like, the only possible situation that I can do is just move to LA. Like, the only way to save money in this city is to leave this city. Like, you can't just like rack up the bucks. So, I'm going to LA, I'm really excited, but I'm specifically excited to travel there. Like, it's all about the destination, sure, but what about the journey? Once I went through puberty, I was like obsessed with going through TSA. If you have anything above an A cup, you know exactly what I'm talking about. They're getting handsy with you, and I like it. So I like it so much that like I have put a couple like Claire's earrings like in my bra before, or like up my vagine because no one else is grabbing it. And they don't have like a dainty lady like, do you mind if I touch? It's like a woman who's supposed to be a man with like huge meaty claws, and they're like, let me get in there. And I'm like, please, like I love traveling. Dating's tough around here, like it's pretty slow. I actually woke up to a message this morning on Hinge, 9 a.m. Truth. All I do is tell the truth out here. Until I don't. So I wake up, because I wake up at 9 a.m. because I'm a lazy piece of shit, and there's a message from this guy, and he goes, I don't mean to say this coming totally out of left field, but that's how I picture him. But your smile is mad contagious. That's what you think coming straight out of left field is? Chlamydia is contagious. And I've had it 17 times. Let's talk about outrageousness, Michael. So that's what I'm dealing with in terms of dating. And like, I used to not have to date. Like, I had a boyfriend at one time, not to brag, but I honestly realized that I preferred to be alone than to be with him. People are in marriages right now like, shit. But I could leave, it was safe. So he was partially deaf, and by partially, I mean he got to like choose when his hearing aids were in or out. the disabled community was like, man, get away. So that was my longest relationship. And it was because his hearing aids were just never in. And so when we would have sex, I really prefer music during sex personally, and he couldn't hear during sex. So I would tell him that I was putting on like Usher. Well, give me someone that you guys like to have sex to. Not my dad, anyone else. Not my mom either, anyone else.
Ari Lennox.
Ari Lennox? I don't know who that is, so I don't want to fuck to them. But you keep doing you, okay? So he wouldn't know what I was playing, so I would put on show tunes. So we would start it off, I would start it off with, ladies and gents, this is the moment you've waited for. And then all of a sudden, like the lights go down, spotlights on me, and I have like a conductor's hat on. And then, like, when we're moving along, like I'm on top, for example, I'm putting on Defying Gravity, because I'm literally defying gravity. And then recently I really learned like Cell Block Tango from Chicago. Instead of he had it coming, I changed it to she had it coming, but she still was never coming. I'll close on this. When I had my Spotify, it was full of Broadway show tunes, and the girls I would babysit would be on my phone. I'm like, don't look over there. They would be like, you're listening to a ton of show tunes. I'm like, you'll understand one day. So we were playing Twister one time, and they were like, well, I said, like, girls, like, I have to be the spinner because, and before I could finish my sentence, they said, because of your scoliosis. And I said, yeah, I'm really open about it. Like, I just want to set like a good model for them. And so we're halfway through, and the girl looks up at me and she goes, can we play Naked Twister? True story. This is not the first time I've been asked that. But that's what we call a comment that comes straight out of left field. And that is the only time I've said no.